The views and opinions expressed by the guest author or speaker during this live session are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Reader's Magnet. The content shared is for informational purposes only and does not constitute endorsement or promotion of any particular belief, ideology, or product.
Hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers, and welcome to another exciting episode of Reader's Magnet featured author interview, where we dive deep into the world of creativity and inspiration. And our guests for today are the authors of the book Sneaky Pete's Big Adventure. So please help me welcome Mr. Bob and Miss Frida Combs. So Bob and Frida, how are you doing today?
We're great. It's wonderful.
Love that, love that. Again, and to all of our viewers, again, if ever you want to check the book out, we'll be adding the purchase link or the Amazon link down in the comment section below for you to click on it. But if ever you want to know more about the book and follow along and ask the authors directly on what this book is all about. So we are here right now. We'll be having that moment. But first and foremost, Bob and Frida, can you please tell us a quick introduction of who is Mr. and Mrs. Combs, who authored this book?
You want to go first?
Okay. I am the wife of this guy. We have 6 kids, 21 and a half grandkids. And they're the reason that this book got started. Oh. And I love working in the yard. I like.
She's a good Nana. They come to see Nana, not me.
I love to cook.
Love that, love that. And how about you, Mr. Bob?
Okay. The grandkids call me Bob. Some of them do. Most of them do. They couldn't say, one of them couldn't say Pa, so he said Bob, and it stuck. Charlie, he's 14 years old now. So most of them call me Bob, even though my name's Robbie or Robert. So that's pretty cool. And we've lived in Kentucky all our lives. I was in the military for a while. I've done all kinds of things, from fast food for 30 years as a store operator for McDonald's. I've worked at Walmart. I've done lots of things, taught martial arts. But my greatest fun time is get on the floor with the grandkids, eat at the grandkids or the kids' table during the holidays. And it's just a joy to be a part of their lives. And I'm a big storyteller. I told stories in grade school. My first grade teacher, Mrs. Johnson, used to have me come up and stand in front of the class, and she'd say, "Robbie, tell a story." And I would just ramble on. And from then on, it was great. I mean, I just love them. I love them. Never did write one down, but I love that.
Love that. Well, you know, and it's really evident with the both of you, though, talking more about your grandkids and also your children as well, and thinking about having a children's book here, which is Sneaky Pete's Big Adventure. So again, the inspiration why this book was relevant was, again, your grandkids and children. But I just want to know that for all of our viewers now, because again, there are some couple of children's books in the market right now. And again, me as a fan, and everyone knows here that's been watching these live streams from time to time, know that I'm a huge fan of children's books because there is magic and wonder when telling these stories. But I want to ask you, though, so could you please tell us, what is Sneaky Pete's Big Adventure all about?
Well,
do you want to know what about or how it got started?
Tell them how I got started. I'll tell you if that's okay. I'll tell them.
Yeah, go. Let's go on that tangent. Go.
That's probably quick.
My daughter lives on a big farm up in Indiana, and the kids, they don't have TV, so they read books. They read constantly, and so one of our granddaughters, she said, "Bob, tell us a story," because they love stories, and I used to tell stories. They're nothing like his. So he started telling the story, and I was over cooking or just doing something, and it went on and it went on. I went on for like 40 minutes, and it just
it was just coming out.
I thought, how can he do this? How can he? So when we leave to go home, I said, "You need to write a book." He's, "Oh, come on." I said, "No, I'm serious. You need to write a book." So then when he tried to start writing the book, we had to collaborate with the kids. They didn't forget any details. He would go over there with a notebook, and he would start telling them, "Oh no, that's not what you said." So he had they remembered everything.
Yeah, it's hard to put it in. I'm trying to make a book out of a story that you rattled on about for 40, 45 minutes and remember it just right. I could have, but no, it wasn't good enough for them. They wanted it to be verbatim as possible, and they were good at it. So that's how it got started. I didn't want to. It wasn't right away. I put it off. But Charlie, one of our grandsons, was there, and he was already ringing dollar signs in his eyes.
Oh,
Okay. And then Max said he would draw pictures for it, and before
Max
you know
did the illustrations.
most of them, And then it just took off from there. But so that's how I got started. I didn't have any of those characters. I did not know what was going to come out of my mouth. I just started the story. I said, let me tell you a story about Sneaky Pete and his big adventure, and there he went. So,
hey, talk about it. Like, it's a collaboration of work between you and your grandkids, and it's really lovely. Like, knowing that the illustrator is one of your grandkids again, it's something. It's something that's really cute, and also has this childhood-like charm as well when it comes to this book. And if I'll be asking you, Mr. and Mrs. Combs, like, again, you can have a lot of, and I know that Bob, you are a storyteller by heart. You love to tell stories. You can rattle it off, and your grandkids remember it. But I just want to ask you, like, how did you come up with the character then? Like, the name Sneaky Pete. Like, is he based on anyone you know, or was it just like a whim? Like, I want a Sneaky Pete character here.
It was not based on anything.
I
had to come up with a name. I was going to tell a story, and I come up with a name, and from Sneaky Pete, it just started to flow. And I filled in details as I wrote the book, but the characters were there, most of them, during the time I was telling the story, and it just started flowing. It's hard to explain it. It's like I said, it's my imagination closet or something. Well, it must have been in there a long time. I'm pushing 70 years old. I got a lot of stories. And who knows, it might have been one I was messing with earlier. And it just pops out, and there it goes. Rolls right off my lips.
And the two little girls in there, actually, we named them after our granddaughter. So.
Yeah,
really. So there are characters, though, referring to your granddaughters. And, it's really lovely, And thinking about how imaginative you can be. Like, there's going to be a story that Pop goes a weasel. Like, let me just crack this box. And then let that story come out, and now it's now presented in the physical format, which is a children's book. So, if I'll be asking for the both of you here, can you share a little bit about how is your writing process, and how the both of you do collaborate when you created this book?
Okay, Frida's collaboration was, are you finished yet? Have you written the book?
Okay.
She didn't give me any ideas what to write. She read it, but it was you need to finish the book. So that was her part, and it was good because I was just putting it off. But my process is the only book I've ever written, so I didn't know exactly how to do it. So I just sat in front of my, opened up Google Docs and put a title there, and then I wrote down the characters that I had so far, and then I started weaving that same story the best I could. Changed a few things, but what I wanted to do was draw in the adults that were reading it, along with the children that can't read, so that the adults maybe make them reflect. Because my grammar's not perfect. I don't understand all that stuff. A highfalutin book reviewer might see it and think, "Oh, what is this?" Where did this guy come from? But if you're an adult, or if you got kids, it's right at your level. It's adults and kids. I've had adults laugh and cry with this book, and they're on my age because it was just fun.
Love that as well. And hey, I gotta tell you, with Frida keeping on that constant reminder, if you're finishing that book, I think we wouldn't be seeing a children's book as of this moment, if ever, without her constant reminder. Though I gotta give it to you, Frida. Okay,
I went to a farmer's market, and they had a lady had a display of books that she had written, but they were like real tiny children's books. And I asked preschool, and so I asked her, where she had her books published, and so that's who we called, the same lady she used. So that's how that got started too. She
was selling some books, 2 or 3 words per page, and I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. That was pretty easy. But for preschool kids, you don't have to be a lot of words. And I thought, well, sure, Frida, I could do one of those. See spot run, but but when it came down to the real thing, it was I didn't know, self-publishing. I didn't know who to call except from that lady. So I called the folks up, and they put me together with someone on their end, and they started telling me all the things I was going to have to do. Well, right then, they about lost me. I mean, pictures and this and that, and send had to send it in so they could proofread it and all these things. I'd never done that before, anything like it. But we got through it, and the end result is a small book. It's not big. It's it's a little thin book.
Hey, can you show us? There.
Yeah.
Oh, there. That's a book.
There it is. That's Penny and Ruby on the front, and that's Sneaky Pete. The treasure chest was added for us from the publisher because we hadn't drawn one yet. But the other pictures in here, you can see that are critical to the story. Let's see here. Oh, wait. This is one of the great ones. There's the paraglider. That plays a critical role in this book when they're going after the ones that stole the goat. It is great. And just you can imagine this kid gets on his walkie-talkie and he calls his buddy. He gets on there and says, "Meet me at the airfield." And he's there, got it fueled up and ready. Don't even know where he's going to take Sneaky. And so it's just that kind. And the talking pets, come on.
All the animals talk.
There's Grubby the rat. He talks.
Alligator.
Jim the gator. They're just, they all talk, and they live in the sewer. They come out of the suey hole. It's just a big drainage system through the town, and they all get trapped in there and are floating down that stream, and they don't know what to do. And Grubby's hanging on, and they're just heading out, and then all of a sudden they see an alligator, and he goes, "Sup?" It's what? So they finally shoot out the end of it, and they land in the river, and they swim, and then they meet the hawk. And, he lands on the gator, and they're good friends, and they're chatting in the background. So the whole book is about that, plus the twins whose parents are gone. They're adventurers themselves. The girls are at boarding school. They're like 12, 13 years old. And they write they were supposed to get out early. Out for summer, but they get out early. They forge a note, and they come home, and no one, the butler, the maids are all gone. They're rich kids. They live in a mansion. And they was gone. The parents thought they were at this boarding school. So they're like, "Hey, let's have some fun." And they order food. And that's how Marvin, Sneaky's brother, delivers it, because Sneaky's nowhere to be found. And that's part of the story too. And he gets there, and there's not only is there a dark mansion and dark property and a gate with a post and a speaker, there's 3 sets of glowing red eyes out there on that property staring at Marvin, and that is Uno, Dos, and Tres. They're the robot guard dogs that their parents built for them to keep an eye on them while they're gone. So this thing goes on, and gyrocopters are in it too. The gold coins, Wave Runner trying to get away. Just story, and you get to learn about spies.
Oh,
okay. The big thief is actually a spy and he come into town, bought a boathouse after the owner mysteriously slipped off the pier and died.
Okay.
And then he was there because he heard there were some gold coins from these people. So it just goes on. I could go on forever about it, but you guys.
Yeah, the next book will have more spies in it.
So we're talking about the next book then. So do we have a time frame on when these next books will come out then, or is it still in the process of making it?
I've already started on getting it lined up. Maybe an extra character or two. They'll come later, probably as I'm writing, but it's going to pick up where the other one left off. And some of the things I like the parents. I left them out of the first book. We know about them, but they're going to be part of it. We're going to know more about these. Wait till you see the flying robot cats.
Okay.
Oh yeah, a whole bunch of them heading across the sky, and their little tails are going like propellers. And Sneaky and Marvin look up, and the only thing they can say is cats. And they're heading towards the mountain, and the mountain opens up, and that's where we leave off. So
I really
mountain.
love this though.
That's so nice. So the second one will pick up where that left off. I'm not sure exactly the whole storyline yet. It'll flow. I'll probably sit down with the grandkids and with a recorder and just tell it, and then we'll get a rough draft from that, and then I'll add it, fill it all in.
Hey, don't worry though. I know you're going to be writing in it. telling that story, getting recorded. And I know that Frida's going to always remind you to finish that book up. So I'm looking forward to see though on where that book will go though. Okay. So
We'll stay
again,
on
you know what? And again, to all of our viewers though and book lovers, again, I just like to highly suggest be sure to grab a copy of Bob and Frida's that's their book. That is Sneaky Pete's Big Adventure. And always try to check out that's through Amazon and Barnes and Noble. And if ever you want to get some updates though, we're going to be flashing something you search on Facebook. That's RC Ministries. That's Rob's Big Tent Revival. Check it out if you want to get some updates, order the book as well. And, you know, before we wrap this up, though, and leave our audience to look forward to that next sequel or next book that we have here, is there any message or theme that you want your readers to take away after they read Sneaky Pete's Big Adventure Bob?
Yes.
Sure.
I want the adults that read this to their children to understand, and they probably will, that it doesn't take a lot of education to write a book. If you love kids and you had adventures growing up, you can put those down on paper, and you can just tell some stories first. Tell them, you know, I'm a boomer, okay? We get blamed for a lot of things. We had it easy. But we didn't have any high-tech stuff. So we told stories. We talked, we played, we ran, we climbed trees. We didn't have iPads or video games or anything like that. So if you can get past all the technology and sit down with a group of kids or people and start chatting, you'd be surprised who can make stories. A lot of kids can, they just don't know it.
And Max, the one that did the illustrations, he's already said he's going to write books.
Yeah,
love that.
Book writer, he says, so I believe him.
Yeah.
If we got a few, then we're going to be having a generation of authors and writers and illustrators, and I'm really looking forward to that.
The books are going to disappear if we don't.
Hey, again, books are eternal. It's nice to pass on knowledge, pass on stories,
Absolutely.
and it's something you can always have. And you know, there's nothing that beats let's say, even a cold summer night, sitting down on your porch, reading a good book. That is what we all live in here for. And again, going to places that even your chair, having this imagination, going to different places, having these different adventures. And Sneaky Pete's Big Adventure is going to be one good thing that a lot of adults and children would really love to add to their shelves as well. So, you know what? As we come with today's interview, though, I just want to say, though, Bob and Frida, thank you very much for joining us today. It was really fun, and I'm really looking forward to see on where your author journey takes you, okay? And
Thank you. It's been wonderful.
Hey, no worries. And again, to all of our viewers and book lovers, thank you very much for tuning in. And always remember that every ending is just a new beginning in the world of stories. May your reading adventures be endless and your imagination boundless. And as we say here at Reader's Magnet, we share your stories with the world. Thank you, and Frida, and have a good one.